This video is going to show you how to do a VLookup using Google Sheets. If you want to have the same spreadsheet and work along with me, go ahead and pause the video and then create a workbook that looks just like mine, and then we can get started. A VLookup is a special function that works with a range of data that looks kind of like this, and it's structured kind of like a database where we have a customer number, customer name, their current balance, and a phone number. What I want to be able to do is type in a customer number, let's say 4, and then for customer name I want to use VLookup to automatically search this column, find the number 4, and then bring back James Madison so that automatically it would say Madison James right here. And that's what a VLookup is going to do for us. Let's go ahead and create the VLookup. So I'm going to type in equal to VLookup and then parenthesis, and we'll just kind of walk through the parameters and I'll explain them as I put them in. The first parameter that we need is the search key, and you can see here underneath what I'm typing it tells you what the parameters are, and then underneath that it explains what each parameter does. So the first parameter is the search key, and the search key is the number that we're using, or the value that we're using, and we go down through the first column and it's looking for that value. In this case our search key is our customer number, which is found in D3. The next parameter is going to be the range of data that we want to select. So let's go ahead and hit comma, and that'll start looking for the range. And the range of data is the full data that we're looking through or searching, but we do not want the headings. So I'm going to click down here and then select my data, but I am not including the headings, just the data. The next parameter is going to be the column number, so I'll hit comma, and really what it calls it is the index, but what it means is the column number of the range of data. And this can be a little bit confusing because when you look at it, for example, I want the customer name to come back, which is in column G of the spreadsheet, but column G is just going to confuse it. What it really wants you to do is count, starting with your lookup column, which is customer number, and count columns going across. So this would be column 1, this would be column 2, this would be column 3, and this would be column 4. In our case, what we want is the second column in the range that we chose. So up here, instead of anything with G on it, what I really want is to put in the number 2 for column 2. The final parameter is either true or false, and it's a little bit cryptic, but what it stands for is, do you want this to be an exact match lookup, which would be false, or do you want this to be an approximate match lookup, which would be true? So the real question they're asking is, should this be an approximate match lookup? In our case, it's no, we want it to be an exact match because we've put in the number 4, we want to find the number 4. So we're going to put false right here. I'm going to hit enter, and look, it came back with the right answer. If I change the customer number to 3, then my cell D4 automatically changes and shows Thomas Jefferson. So that's sweet, that's doing exactly what I want. Let's practice this again by getting the customer balance. So when I change the customer number, I want to get the customer balance from this data range. I'm going to do equal to VLookup. Again, my search key is D3, which is the number of, or the customer number. The range that I'm looking in is the same range, so F13 through J18. This time I want column 3, so I had column 1 is a customer number, column 2 is the customer name, and column 3 is the current balance. And in clicking off of that, I created a problem. So let's go ahead and do comma false and hit enter. So now, if I change that to 4, you can see that I'm getting the correct balance in the cell. So that's working perfectly, and that's how to do an exact match VLookup. I might also want to do an approximate match VLookup. The difference here is that an approximate match VLookup works with ranges instead of a specific value. We have a cell here called credit risk, and What we want to do is get the text value over here from this table based on the amount of credit that they already have. So if they have a customer balance between 0 and 300, then their credit would be good. Between 300 and 600, it would be medium. Between 600 and 750, it would be a concern, and so on. The problem is that if you look through this list, you don't see 111, but our customer balance right now is 111. So it's obviously not going to find 111 as it looks through this list. Instead, we want to say, as long as it's between 0 and 300, that we want to find the top row. If it's between 300 and 600, the top row of that range is medium. If it's between 600 and 750, the top row is concern. So setting it up is very similar. The difference is we're going to say true instead of false. Let's go ahead and do it. Equal to VLookup. Now in this case, our search key is not the customer number, it's the customer balance. Our range is going to be selected here, and again, I did not include the headings. I just included my search column and my return column. The index that I want to use here is column 2. So index 1 or column 1 is always the search column, and then there's only 2 columns here, so it's got to be column 2. And finally, in this case, because it's an approximate match, we're going to do true. And then I'm going to close my parentheses and hit enter. Notice that 111 came up as good. That's perfect. Let's change our customer number to 4, and that should come up as medium. It does. And then let's change it again to 6, and that one comes up as concern. So our VLOOKUPs are all working the way we expect them to. So as a recap, this video shows you how to do exact match and approximate match VLOOKUPs in Google Sheets. I hope it was helpful.